Welcome to another video by Pharaoh's Technology. Today we want to recap what we've discussed so far in our blockchain journey that we've had at this point. When we talk about management in the blockchain era and talk about getting a blockchain implemented for your company that it benefits your company, there are 5 basic elements of a blockchain that need to be intact to get full benefit for any one business. So what we want to talk about today is linking those 5 benefits with the 4 business currencies that we talked about in the last video and understand what it means to have a blockchain solution that does not meet all 5 of those basic elements or the key elements in a blockchain. So to remind you, key elements were distribution, the fact that you had a distributed ledger, that the data was kept in more than one place and validated among members so that it could be then encrypted, which is the second feature. Encryption has to be part of it. And then immutability, which then comes based on the fact that blocks are chained together. And once you have several blocks at the end of a chain, it becomes immutable and harder to change the farther you get. Now there are 2 more: tokenization, building the assets of value within the blockchain that are tokenized so that everybody can track their units of value, whether it be information or it be hard assets that those tokens represent. And the next and last one is decentralization. The fact that one company or one entity does not have total control over the data or the rules of engagement within that blockchain. So with those 5, what does it mean if you don't have a blockchain that has all 5 of those pieces? And most notably, most of the blockchain implementations that we're seeing today don't contain tokenization and they don't contain decentralization. So what we see, like in TradeLens is the one I like to use a lot, you see Maersk being the main proponent of the blockchain that they have, and the other shippers that are in their shipping chain participate in that. And it's a sweet piece of software, but the problem with it is that TradeLens, owned by Maersk also sets all the rules, so it's not decentralized, and it controls all the data, which then, of course, creates a situation where other major shipping lines that compete, like Hapag-Lloyd, that compete with Maersk, are reluctant to join because they don't see them being able to contribute and not letting Maersk know all their trade secrets. So we're going to explore 5 different archetypes of blockchains that will exist under this type of a paradigm, where you're missing 2 of the key elements, such as tokenization and decentralization. The first of those types or archetypes is FOMO, the fear of missing out. Most companies are seeing the fact that that blockchain is becoming a serious player in the business realm. Player meaning that implementing a blockchain could in fact be the next differentiator for competitiveness in the marketplace. So companies that really don't have a strong business case to implement a blockchain and invite a bunch of people into it will implement a blockchain that optimizes a particular operation within their company. So these, basically, they're pointless. A database could do just as good, but they decided to implement it on a blockchain instead because they felt that they needed to explore or needed to understand the technology of blockchain. In fact, some of them might actually say or think that by implementing a blockchain, they could also project to their marketplace that they're bleeding edge or they're getting involved in brand new technology and will eventually be better than their competition. So we've got first one being FOMO, fear of missing out. The next is a Trojan Horse. Well, we call it Trojan Horse one because a blockchain created by a powerful actor in the business realm, let's say Walmart, And I'm going to use Walmart as an example because there appears to be a blockchain that is more Trojan horse than fitting in any other paradigm. They have a blockchain that specifically tries to track foodborne illness in their produce supply chain. So they, being a big actor, can either require or encourage their supply chain to do business within that blockchain in order to continue doing business with Walmart. So powerful enough player to require participation, but the participants end up giving all of their data to Walmart in order to continue participating. And they, in order to continue participating, would be required to stay in the blockchain and or forfeit their ability to do business with Walmart. So what that does, here we've got a blockchain that implements the first three, but does not implement tokenization. No incentive for a supplier to do business except they want to do business with Walmart. And no decentralization because Walmart sets all the rules. So this second one is the Trojan Horse. The third one is an opportunistic blockchain. I'll use an example of an Australian firm, ASX. In fact, the Australian Stock Exchange is what that stands for, ASX. So the Australian Stock Exchange had a piece of software they called Chess, CHESS. And Chess specifically automated all the transactions that took place in the blockchain, but it was 25 years old. It used a proprietary communication system. It was starting to become a limiter to how many people could participate in the Australian Stock Exchange because they had to then retool all of their communications devices to talk to that stock exchange in their proprietary communications format. Because of this, they decided to go ahead and implement a blockchain. Now, their blockchain is totally owned by the Australian Stock Exchange, so it's not decentralized. Doesn't have tokens because there's no value in having tokens because none of the participants are rewarded for their ability to participate in the blockchain. But what it does have is the ability for them to then correct the problem that they had with their communications piece in that software, and allows them to open up to the whole world and interact with other stock exchanges seamlessly so they could communicate without difficulty. So that's an opportunistic one. The Australian Stock Exchange felt that they had an opportunity to revamp their software, and they felt that a blockchain might be a good fit for that. So they had an opportunity. The next one is the evolutionary type of blockchain. So we're on number 4 at this point. The evolutionary blockchain is one that is designed specifically while they build it to have all 5 elements in it. But when it's first implemented, it does not have all those elements. So at first, it doesn't have tokenization, and it doesn't have a distributed rule structure or governance structure at all. So because it's not decentralized or have tokens, at this point, it's just a blockchain-inspired solution. But it is meant to be taken to the next level. Now, this is an important factor in whether a blockchain is built properly or not, because, in Walmart's case, they built it specifically to be all the data in-house. The suppliers were going to provide their data so that they could track foodborne illnesses in a very short bit of time, rather than, for example, taking all of the food that was contaminated off the shelves because they don't know where it came from and still haven't identified the source of the contagion. So in an evolutionary situation, they will design the blockchain specifically to be decentralized later and to introduce tokens later. Okay. Now, normally when you design a blockchain, you have to, at the beginning, figure out how you're going to have it decentralized and how you're going to have tokens. And if you don't do it at the beginning, you most likely cannot do it at all. So the next one is blockchain native. We have a university called Wolf University that right now is working on getting certified in the EU, and they've obtained certifications in various areas. But what they've done is they've created a blockchain from the very beginning. So they want to develop a university that is built solely on a blockchain to link professors with students and allow professors to log into it, like an Airbnb, for example, logs in and advertises that they have particular units that could be occupied at certain times. And then it allows students to get into their system and sign up with individual professors to do virtual studies and learn from various professors and engage with them. And that Wolf University, after they've certified those instructors to teach, will then be able to develop core curriculum such that they can then certify the degree at the back end. Now, at this point, it's still a blockchain-inspired solution in the respect that Wolf University is the owner of all the data, and they are totally decentralized in the particular university. They don't offer tokenization quite yet, but tokens are later envisioned to be the payment to professors so that they can be paid in tokens, or they can exchange those tokens immediately for their pay in their native currency. Later on, when it becomes distributed, they're hoping that other universities will join that paradigm and be able to then be part of that ecosystem. And then they would be able to decentralize beyond just Wolf University. Okay, so let's recap just a little bit. We have 5 basic blockchain archetypes: the fear of missing out, FOMO; the Trojan Horse. Go ahead and join. You have to join because you're going to give us our data. And so Trojan Horse, in the respect that who owns the data gets all the benefit. The opportunistic version, or an evolutionary version, or the blockchain native version. Start at the beginning with a blockchain in that business, not try to put your business on a blockchain, but start your business with a blockchain. Okay, so those are the 5 key archetypes that when you as a manager need to determine what kind of blockchain you're becoming a part of, that you understand what depth and what benefits you can get out of a blockchain so that you can know once you're done that you've been able to achieve the best possible return on your investment. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. We'll hopefully see you again later. Thanks. I want to thank you so much for viewing this video. We have great content on the site, and I'm putting more content out every single day. There's a link to one of them on the side of the screen over here. Also, please help me grow the channel by subscribing. So hit that subscribe button a little bit lower on the other side of the screen, and hope to see you again. Thanks.